Welcome to Arcane Recovery.
Yes.
What the heck?
Woo!
Here we go.
That's it?
That's
Does
all. You can do the rest.
Oh, thank you. Well, welcome to Arcane Recovery, folks. My name is Haven Joseph Lyon.
Well,
What's my middle
What?
name?
Ah.
Oh, yes. My name is Haven Swankified Joseph Lyon.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's-
yeah, but I never do a new one for the Arcane
Yeah, not
Recovery.
for Arcane
Yeah.
Recovery.
Oh, you gotta save the new ones for the new episode.
Yeah. Whoa.
Yeah,
I can't be producing
Whoa,
too much content.
All right. This is an after talk show where we talk about the, past two episodes.
Yes, the past two episodes we are talking about today is episodes 7 and episodes 8, where a lot of shit went down.
Oh boy.
Well, I'm gonna start off the typical way I tend to, which is my first question of the night. What was thy favorite moment?
That is a good question because it was just us getting our asses handed to us.
Did you like the ass handing, or did you like
Yeah.
the alternative?
Uh, me personally, I love the introduction of the brass bears. I love the introduction for him because I knew that was coming, and just so you guys know, that was like an entire thing that I kind of had planned for my arc coming up, and that Haven and I found a way to kind of have them come up a little bit earlier, and you'll see why.
Yeah, we'll talk about it here later or soon. I would love for us to talk at some point about the process, because I know a lot of people want to know how are we running that in terms of
Yeah.
when it comes to that kind of knowledge. One thing I'll just quickly say, and we'll go on to Heath for favorite things and we can come back to it, is it's very interesting getting to talk with Nick. For us getting to talk back and forth, because Nick has so much stuff that I can't know. And I don't want to know because I want to experience with all of our players together. And it was really scary for me as a DM, because Nick was like, hey, here's 6 characters that I made and here's all of their personalities. And I went, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was like, all right,
Good to
gotta do
know.
these justice, right?
Mhm.
So the way we did it, and we were literally just talking about it, is that Nick gave their general gist in small paragraphs, and then
Yeah.
he would give me a character reference in terms of Cliffside Sunrise. He was Jumba from Lilo and Stitch. Exandros, one of his examples was Loki, but in an American accent. Specifically Tom Hiddleston. Tom Hiddleston. Yeah.
Tom
Tom-
Hiddleston.
yeah, I was like, did I say that wrong?
Yeah.
Well, Tom Hiddleston's Loki, so I wanted to be a little more sarcastic, witty with it, and just kind of not rude. More rude.
I'm so sad we didn't get Larks because I had him as a copy paste Elxidor, where Haven was going
Yes.
to try and copy my voice.
Oh.
Yes. But we talked prior with that because I wanted a specific tone to be set
Mhm.
with the end of this, right?
Mhm.
Because now we're
Yeah.
getting into Morally Gray and
Yeah.
all of that fun.
Yeah.
And Himari was based off of Jade from Victorious.
Yes.
I was
That's
like,
where
this
I'm
is
going.
Nice.
where Kira, who you also didn't get to meet. I wanted to base her off of Ida from the Owl House. If you've seen that show.
I love the Owl House.
Which
Sorry.
is why
got
I
really
didn't
excited.
speak as her, because I know nothing about that.
Oh my
I
god.
haven't watched it. I
Haven.
know.
Haven.
I know.
Also, I haven't either.
And
Okay.
Yeah, guys, what is wrong with you? You've never seen that show?
Y'all.
Who do you remember what it was
My
called?
moving.
Yeah, Owl Place.
Oh my god. Owl
and
residence.
2 more
Aviary.
Aviary.
Sorry.
Oh yeah, Aviary Paris.
No, you're fine.
And
Coming up.
What is
Calden,
that?
yeah, Calden was based off Senshi.
Yeah.
But it's so funny how
Yeah.
you just couldn't do a Scottish accent, so I had to.
We're probably gonna cut out the entire. We will cut out that entire part.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
but there's literally a moment for those of you at home where I literally sat here for 2 minutes trying to find the Scottish accent, and it just wouldn't come out. I
Mhm.
practiced all night and it
I could
wasn't
throw it in.
happening. And we were like, all right, let's take a break. Nick, you're taking over for that Scottish accent.
Yeah.
I can't do that.
And,
Right?
and then the fun little Easter egg is that Calden's Saint Bernard is named Gregor, who is a character that I play in another campaign with Sophia and Adam.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So that was a really cool call out.
Yeah.
But moving forward, Heath, what was thy favorite?
My favorite moment was Nick's stomach rumbling. I think it's
Oh
the
my
funniest
God.
thing.
I hope it didn't catch.
It'll probably get cut, but just for posterity's sake, I want to send this out there. I was like, I'm on the verge of tears. I'm like, this is a great speech I'm doing. And then it's just,
It's so good.
I'm so sorry.
I was like, keep going. Nope, this is too funny.
It was really funny because his stomach rumbled
Right on the
twice.
silence.
The first time you didn't hear it, and
And
I
we-
almost laughed.
I didn't either.
No,
We passed it. We got past it.
it was so funny.
I didn't
because,
notice the
because
first
it
time.
happened, and you were looking down, but I started to go, and then the second you looked up, I locked in immediately. It was so funny.
But the second time, he just caught me in a pause, and I was like,
We all just like froze. We went,
We went, can we get through this?
like,
Can we get through
What did I
this?
say? I think I said, I'm terrified. And then she was like, raw. And I was like, there's the monster.
Oh my god, it's
oh my gosh, she's trying to get out.
yeah.
I literally turned away because I was like, I can't hold myself together. I need to turn away. And then everyone burst out laughing. And I was like,
Yeah,
oh,
great.
thank God. I was like, oh, thank God.
This is corpsing on stage, but in podcast form.
I swear to God, I was like ready to get the tear going. And it was just like, nah, not today.
You get back in there,
Jake.
tear.
What was your favorite moment?
Could you come back to me? I have to think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Adam, what was thy favorite moment?
As gruesome and as scary and as wild as it was, I liked when we all were in that facility room with all the wires and the liquid luck being pulled out and like trying to, all of us just figuring it out together, minus Brian. But like just doing as much as we can as our characters to save as many as we can. And that I felt that was very us, that we were just really trying to put our heads together and really trying to help these people out. And you were a great support in a jail cell. Just so you know that.
No,
How
that
different do you think the battle would have been if it got me too?
would have been
Yeah.
Mm.
It would have been really tough.
Yeah, no, I honestly don't know if we
would've
would have done
lost.
it.
Yeah.
It would've-
This arc would have been longer, right?
Yeah.
This arc would have been way longer.
We
Yeah.
got a new thing to fight.
Mm.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought that was cool.
Sophia?
I don't know. There's not one thing that sticks out to me.
A lot of really cool moments.
I think I liked when you were again in the big facility room when you were healing all those people, where it took Leo's essence to heal everyone.
It literally took every
I feel like
single
that-
last
Oh,
spell
you
Is that
slot.
stole
still
it.
yours, Ari?
No, it's okay.
Oh no.
You can
You
both.
did.
You,
I hated that part.
No,
You could
no,
both
no, no,
talk
because
about it at
was-
the
Yeah,
start.
talk-
Yeah,
talk
no,
about
I
it.
feel
absolutely.
like for Lycan 2, it was a powerful moment of just seeing how incredibly powerful Leo is, because I don't think she's seen him enact that much raw arcanic energy before.
Yeah, both
So
in
it was
both
very-
in and out of game. It took like all literally. I kept spending and taking off and spending. Like I used the spell slots to take
Mhm.
off to give you the double thing to give you advantage.
Yeah,
and then
which
I
didn't help.
got rid of more like spell slots
That's
to
the
get
most-
rid of all of my sorcery points to then use all of my sorcery points to do that. It was crazy.
I think coming off 2 natural ones for like the perception or whatever it was, and then going into the big role that mattered, I just felt so helpless. And I, if Fennec had died, I think that would have been very hard and a very different route for Lycan to go.
Mhm.
She still has her ego though, with the way things are right now. So I think, I don't know, but she knows she wouldn't have done it without Leo.
Mhm.
So yeah, that'll come up later, I think. Yeah.
It was wild.
Yeah, that was the same moment I was going to talk about, but I have a different aspect of it that particularly resonated with me, so we could talk about that. And that was I'm trying to remember the specifics. I'm gonna love listening back to this episode, but something when you were saying something that he was. You had spoken. Leo had spoken to Fennec and was starting to feel him trying to hang on. After that incredible speech, by the way. Wow. And I don't know. I can't remember who said it. It might have been Elxidor, but something about him feeling hope.
It was
Heath.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was
Him
so
feeling
glad
hope.
you did that. I was
And-
like someone.
Yep. Because we're gonna talk about things that this group of people know and these viewers do not, but I think I can still describe it well. Is it reminded me so much of a moment in the first campaign that we ever played together, which was Heath's Fodenland campaign. We had this running sort of theme, especially with Adam's character, who was a robot and working through how to feel human emotions. But that was something that ended up applying to a lot of our characters.
It was so cool.
Trying to, yes,
I think
Yes.
it was.
It was the exact emotion.
That was that character, whose name is XD, and he was experiencing an emotion for the first time. And I still remember as we're all waiting there with like bated breath, and Adam just says hope. And how that just cracked all of us. Like I fully cried in that moment back then. I still remember. And so having that come back, I feel like it's something that's very special for our group. And I think something that we all kind of hold on to, no matter who our characters are, no matter what world we're in. That just seems to be a theme for us. And I think that's really lovely. So I felt like I was reliving another moment with this group that I also loved and building upon it. So it was just really gorgeous. Yeah. So
it's cool because it was literally the first emotion he had and the most recent emotion that Leo figured out, which is I didn't even realize. I was just like, this is what's coming out of this moment, and I'll wrap up really quick. Back on the speech, there's a phrase I said that I in my normal life live by all the time. I said it differently, I think. I don't remember, but it's oh my gosh, it's one I live by all the time.
Was it the one about mistakes?
Yes, everyone makes mistakes. It's what you do after the mistakes that make you who you are.
Yeah, it's like
I live by that constantly through my life, because there's so many points where we make mistakes and we beat the hell out of ourselves because of it. But everyone makes a mistake, and if you go on forward through it, be like, I made a mistake, I see what the mistake is, I'm going to move forward and be a better person from this point on, then that is enough of a, because sometimes people make mistakes and they don't improve on themselves for what they do. They are like, whatever, that'll probably change later. But if they don't cognitively choose to acknowledge that, or like at all, it's you didn't choose to help and change yourself to go through that mistake. But that is just another thing that just came out of that scene. That's just what I felt in that moment. I was like, what would Fennec need to hear right now? And that was I was kind of like talking to my young self, because that's what I needed to hear. So I don't know. That was one of the moments that hit me.
I have a feeling that sentiment might come back, especially with some of the conversations that we are beginning to have with this group. There's a lot of guilt for a lot of different reasons. I foresee that coming back. So
yeah. I honestly didn't even realize that it was a parallel directly to Fatherland, because I have a memory of
Steel Trap.
Yeah.
Steel Trap.
Like it's Steel Trap.
Steel Trap.
So like, I mean, I loved this entire. I think like it was so cool to me to just see how everyone took this entire arc. I think that's where I'm coming from it, in terms of we started doing the thing. We're going through the motions. We're making sure everything's good, and like we've had those great character moments of back and forth, and then we finally got to specifically episode 8. Episode 7's awesome. I love episode 7, and there's a bunch really cool fights, but it's really intense. It's really intense, and when it is all fight, it's hard to get to really just enjoy all of it, because everyone's so stressed. We're like, oh man, stuff's going away, and I'm like sitting here going, am I gonna kill everyone?
Almost.
And like we talked about this outside of like during lunch today. I was really scared I was gonna kill everyone. And that was very scary, but I think that the challenge was appropriate, and it was so awesome to see how everyone took this entire arc and ended it in such a succinct way that felt like I didn't even plan. Like I knew the whole Fennec thing was going to happen in terms of like the death and everything like that. Like I knew that was going to be up to you guys. And the fact, like where we were talking about Adam, the fact that like he was able to bring that level of speech, I wouldn't have given you another chance. I already gave you 2 advantages, and typically I wouldn't give more chances on top of that. But it was so inspiring, and I was like, oh my God, this is exactly what this character needs.
Yeah.
And I'm sure I don't know if everyone else saw, but like as I was acting as Fennec, I literally was like tearing up. Like, and I could not help it because the character was just going. Yeah. And that was really cool. In my opinion, that moment of, I felt it so deeply. I connected with Fennec so much that it was, hey, why aren't you waking up?
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Like that hurt.
Yeah. And I want to add on to that because like that is like such a big foundational moment in this arc. That's also not only we see all these like all of us just going in trying to do what we can, but also the allure of rune casting. Because like it is not magic, and when Lycan was like, "You are the only person who could solve this."
I didn't know what to do.
Oh yeah, I was gonna. Can we actually talk about it? Like if you have any ideas on that? Like because I didn't mean like I was just like.
I mean, in the moment, I felt very overwhelmed, and I kind of still don't know what you were wanting from.
It wasn't something specific.
Okay.
It was open.
Yeah, and I mean, I think the etching had meaning. I just think the dice didn't roll in our favor.
No.
So
Absolutely.
I think that was it. I think also, like it might. I think for the story it works very well because she's finding her confidence. She doesn't really know. Most of the runes that are on her she didn't do to herself. They were done to her. So her expressing her own form of rune casting is very empowering, but also very new. And so that it would fail, it makes sense.
Yeah.
To me.
Yeah.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
But like, I thought that was fascinating to see how everyone reacted and was like, oh shit. Like,
and
what
I
do we
think
do?
she felt Fennec die. I think she felt him go. And then she knows Leo is the one who saved it. It wasn't her.
I initially thought nothing was going to happen when I did that message. It was literally just to talk to him. Yeah. To have someone for him to talk to let him go.
I was going to be so real. I thought you were saying it out loud, and I was like, no, messages in the head. And if you were saying it out loud, I was going to be like, dude, he's gone. And I thought, I was about to say it, but you just kept going. And I was like, I'm not going to.
It is in my brain. Which was that, because I specifically wanted it just to have like, so he wasn't overwhelmed with other people being like, he just has someone to talk to.
Absolutely.
To just have an easy way of going out, because
and he wasn't
sometimes
really very
you don't
conscious.
get the last say when you go out.
I think it makes a lot of sense. I think he wasn't really very conscious, so having the message,
something
able to
that
get
reached to him. I thought was awesome.
I was surprised he talked back.
No, I
what
was
the heck?
shocked. I did not think that was going to happen at all.
I was too, honestly. Like it was one of those moments as a DM where you go, okay.
Oh, but it'd be so fucking cool. I have to do it.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like,
oh my
God. It's like, damn, that was a good speech.
Like,
do I just follow it with silence?
Time to break the
I
game,
just reward you with nothing? Like, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm not going to go into my profession, but like a lot of that happens in my own profession in terms of like, you look at something and you go, oh, you can't like, how can I not? How can I not give some sort of reward to make sure that is
encouraged
or appreciated?
Yeah.
So like, that was one of those moments where I was like, I have a feeling people are going to be upset that like we already did the advantage thing, but I don't care because this is such a cool moment.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And I think you're such a giving person, Haven. Like I just It makes you a
Giving
good DM
DMs
because you're
are very
not,
good.
Yeah.
I think there's moments where it's good to be a rules lawyer, but also moments like that where it honors the story and it makes sense and it helps propel things in an interesting way. And it makes the rules lawyer moments harsher and mean more.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're a rules lawyer all the time, it's like, oh, well, I don't know.
Oh, trust me, I've walked that
way.
I mean, you made us feel things, and I think that's part of storytelling. I mean, goodness, like the weight in the room. I assume y'all felt it as well because we're all very empathetic people.
Yeah.
The weight in the room as like we tried to pile everything up into that role, and when it failed, like I could just feel it, and the relief, but still the tiredness of everything we had just gone through. Like it was, you told a story. We all told a story that made each other feel things very deeply. And hopefully, the audience will as well.
Yeah.
I think there's something
really
to that.
Pure storytelling. The story didn't have to be linear. The story was told the way it was told.
Yeah.
Jake, what was your favorite moment?
Oh yes.
Hey, buddy.
It requires a little bit of setup that I didn't say during the actual recording session itself.
Yeah.
When we started the fight, I was on 35 out of 39 HP. After the first attack from the bed, I was on 4.
Oh my god.
If I didn't use that uncanny dodge on the 19 specifically, which just happened to be the highest amount of damage I took, if I didn't use it on the 19 specifically, I would have been like,
knocked
down.
unconscious. Nobody was near you.
Yeah, in the first round of combat.
That's crazy.
So my favorite moment was getting back into that room and stabbing the shit out of that stupid bed. Yes, it almost killed me in one round. And it is not coming back.
You're never gonna sleep on beds.
You always kill the people in the burning buildings.
Damn, yeah.
Wow.
Real.
Oh my
Elsidor
gosh,
wouldn't
literally
like that one.
never gonna. He's
No,
never gonna sleep on a
Elsidor
bed
is not
again.
happy about that.
You're gonna have to invest in like a cot or a hammock.
No more beds for me. I'm on the couch.
Invest in a cot
Yeah.
is really funny.
Just invest in a cot. Invest in a hammock. Why not?
Hay bales.
Yeah.
Yes.
Bale after bale after
No, 'cause
bale.
I looked at his thing and I went, dang, bro, do you still have those potions? And I don't know if you can hear it in that recording, but like, it definitely said that. I was like, and that's the only reason I remember that we had potions, is because I looked over and said, oh, damn, he's got 4 hit points.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
the thing is again, I don't know if everyone knows this. On D&D Beyond, because of what I pay for, I can see everyone's HP.
We can see each other's.
Like, oh, okay,
We
cool,
can?
great.
I think
yeah,
so.
there's a little chat thing you can click it.
Yeah.
Oh.
And
Like,
you can go to people's
so-
profiles and
Can't see
dig into
mine 'cause
stuff.
I'm a rune caster.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Boom.
So like I was like sitting here and I like
Yeah.
I told you your damage and I looked and I went, well, that sucks. I'm like, shit.
No.
But
I'm glad I went down that trap.
No, yeah.
It would have ended
That's like a
very bad for me. if I
it
didn't.
did end up. I honestly really liked that you were the one who went down there.
Yeah.
Weirdly, it showed us like your criminal side of like, oh, this is kind of what Brian maybe would have experienced before he's been with the little guy, Private Eye.
Yeah.
I don't know really exactly, but
I won't reveal it.
Oh,
okay.
wow.
Secrets.
Heads for
Hey, bro,
another
I
episode.
That was in session.
I live in secrets.
The most coded thing ever. It was like, what?
Like, okay.
I was like, okay, Batman.
I live in secrets.
Yeah. My next question for everyone, and again, feel free to ask any questions, like everyone involved. It does not just have to be me. Now that we are moving on to a new arc, what what specifically about arc 1 are you curious to see how that leads into arc 2, and what are your thoughts about the butcher being now a thing as our end? Like, what did everyone think of the end and stuff like that? Like, I'm very curious. Let's start with Nick and other people sometime, because I know Nick has been very excited about this moment.
Yeah. No, like now keep in mind, like I started drafting because like Haven and I are very different people about how our DM prep is.
Dear God, we are.
So like I started in this summer and I've just been grinding it out. And like the way that I'm going to have it is that you're all going to be in Telona. It's going to be a very, especially, well, it's so cool with the serial killer too, because like you're going to just be really upfront with people and it's all going to be condensed in one thing. And I'm going to have it all laid out and I'm just going to be like, do whatever you guys want and see how it falls.
Oh, I'm scared.
Yeah.
We're literally investigating.
Yeah. But like with Arc 1, I mean, I can't say too much because what I love the trails that Haven has put. And what I'm very excited to see is how the depths will become of after the Ocean Watch coming down.
Fucking mess for me to clean up.
Yeah, I was like, oh, didn't see that coming. All right.
Yikes.
So I'm gonna wonder about the repercussions of that, especially with things that we have in motion. That's all.
Yeah.
Well, I was like, it's so easy to just like forget about Urbane and all that jazz, but like, I don't know. I want to keep like, I kind of want to reconcile with him, but like, now that you're saying that we're kind of stuck in that one district, I don't know if that's going to be plausible for this next arc. And like, there'll be a time and place for it, but like, I don't want to just forget like the wrongs that my character has done. I feel like there's good times to like, I hope at least there will be times to reconcile.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Oh, there definitely will. Like it, and it's not like I'm keeping you guys in Talone and you're not allowed to leave. Like that'll be fine. Like you can totally do that. It's just that.
Yeah, I mean, I figured. I just didn't want to be like actually.
I have two things that I'm interested to see how they go. The first one is just everything with Ynir. He's still such a mystery to me.
Yeah.
I don't really know what he can do for me or if I even want him to do anything for me, especially after that last conversation
I was like,
with Sig.
Can we please like mention that in a second? Because you said something before we started recording and I was like, no, this should be on the recording.
Yeah, I want to delve into that.
Okay, we'll get into and then I'll come back to the other thing, but we'll get into that.
Yes,
now,
please.
And then I'll come back to
right
the
now.
other
Okay.
thing. Yeah. Just while we're on the topic. So, what are your thoughts? So I had the idea in my head to try and use Ynir to get back to my sister somehow, to try and make a deal with him to get out and get back.
Yeah.
But then he said all that stuff, and I went, maybe I shouldn't talk to him about this right now. What do I want to make a deal with? Oh, just to see my sister again. How's yours doing, by the way? Like, you know, like I felt like it wasn't the time to say that. So that's why I was more like, yeah, I'm not sure what deal to make. I don't really know. I'm not sure.
Yeah, like now that you say that, I was like, oh, it makes so much sense that you were like, I don't want to talk about it. And I'm over here like, dude, you can tell me after I just like poured my heart out about like my dead family. And you're like, nah, actually I'm good. Then Lycan comes in and I'm like, yeah, we were just talking about
Sports.
myself and my demon. Yep, no other demons. Like I looked over at Haven and I was like, don't make me roll for this.
I was just sitting here and Heath looks over to me and I was like, I'm not saving you. Like it literally looked like he was like about to reveal Brian's stuff. And I was like, I literally was like, drop jawed. I was like, is he gonna say it in front of Lycan? And he caught himself right in time and looked at me and I went, all right, cool.
Dude, I won't tell your secret.
I was like,
hey, we were
That's
talking.
what I thought was gonna happen. I was like, bro.
I was gonna start talking
You should know
about
this too.
Urbane. And then I was like, yeah, just like him and Urbane. And I was like, that's not it. I can't say that actually.
Yeah.
I also think with that moment, it was really nice to have that connection for Brian with someone in the party, because he really does not have that. He didn't, at least.
Also, and I glossed over all the rune stuff that's on your body. Like we have.
She covers it though. Like I've not talked about it very much.
Yeah. But like you mentioned that, I was like, oh God, we've got a connection. We've got like 3 connections we didn't even know about. Like, oh, it's all coming together.
Yeah. And then the other thing I'm looking forward to, if we're done,
We're done. Yeah,
the other thing I'm looking forward to resolving is the Gray Ocean.
Oh my gosh, I wrote that a long time ago.
That has been on Brian's mind the entire time.
Really?
With the exhaustion especially, he's tired, he's thinking about home, and he's thinking about his sister, and he's scared for her because she's in the ocean that's turning gray.
Yeah.
And so that I've been thinking about that a lot, but Brian has been thinking about that a lot. He hasn't, shown that or anything. He can't show weakness, but that has been on his mind, and I know you've said that your arc will be about Gael and Brian, and so I'm kind of thinking that we're gonna see something about what's going on with the ocean, but I don't know entirely.
Maybe,
but I'm excited.
You've
to
been
see,
a little busy, so
yeah, I'm excited to see something with that eventually.
Absolutely,
yeah.
Trust me, you'll find out.
Yeah, okay.
Because
we don't just drop that and then just be like,
No, it was so funny because after maybe a few sessions went by, Haven and I were like, I guess they forgot about the whole ocean.
No, we were just busy.
No, I haven't.
You bringing it up was like, oh wow.
In character, I just wouldn't bring it up again because I wouldn't want anyone to worry about it or anything.
That makes me curious. Are you having like things that'll occur even if we don't?
Yep.
Oh, brother. Okay.
The world is moving.
We just had other priorities. It's not.
Yeah.
It's
Huge things that have gone in front of us.
There are things personally, because I'm already prepping for Arc 3 in my head. I haven't written anything, but like Nick said, we have two way different approaches. I sit down and I don't sit down. I just like write notes as I go, and then I compile it all into a big thing. I literally like have things in motion that are happening in my brain as you guys are going.
Oh my god.
Mhm.
That's frightening.
Of what other NPCs are doing within the world as you are doing things. Yeah. So it's a consistently moving world that rotates not only around you, which is the point.
Yeah. No, it's great.
Mm-hmm. So we're really excited about
Prefer it.
Yeah.
That's exactly what my thing was going to be, actually, was talking like I'm excited to see how the world is alive. And the further we go into these arcs is the further we see more of these different places that have real people and other things. Like we could go so far from like the time of talking to Sayer and then like come back and then like we can have like a dinner party at Sayer and Fennec's house and like just actually like going back on a thing that like is still moving forward and seeing them just live, but like making sure that they're protected and stuff like that, or just like doing different things at different places, then going back to those places and finding out, oh, this is different now because we did this, and like
we didn't do,
like if with the 20 people saved and 20 people died, there could be people that we find in these other places that are like it's a shot of like us walking by and there's like a family crying as they're getting news from a guard or something. Like it could be insane, and I'm so excited to see how all of this just connects, even if it's not like, oh, all connected to the like an overarching story. It's all just connected to make everything feel like we've done something that's real. And I think that's really cool.
There's consequences, butterfly effect.
Yes, butterfly effect.
Yeah. I mean, I'm excited to pursue helping Sig more. That's kind of been a more recent thing. But I would like. I don't think she sees him as a problem. She just doesn't want him hurting other people, and she wants to help him.
Fair.
Yeah.
Very fair.
I'm excited to learn more about rune casting, and as we explore more of the world, to find more rune casters to learn from, because there's nothing in the library really. So she needs to go other places to learn more.
Yeah,
so.
and that's what I really liked about this episode 8 was because like with you seeing all the scrawling words of like how rune casting is, because like just so you guys know of how runes are made, that there are 3 subscriptures that we've had. You have your elements, your schools of magic, and then words of power, and essentially use all these things to create your own rune. So with that said, there's like a whole like system of words, and like all of it has meaning and powerful, and both of you knowing how, like for Sig, how that connects to the world, and how like you felt the essence of Sarulin when Haven was talking about that. And you just trying to figure out, because like also seeing Hamari as another runecaster, but not a nature type of runecaster. So like there's so much out there for you.
I mean, how I think about it is she's very self-taught. She hasn't had any formal training at all. So she doesn't know how to read this language. It's just kind of something she's auditorially picked up, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Excited.
I like that a lot. I'm really excited. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Ari?
I feel like I agree with what a lot of folks were talking about, but something that Heath said kind of was making me think of it's been hard in some ways playing a character who is so like self-isolating in a lot of ways, not even like out of being broody or whatever. Like that's just the way that Gael is in the world. And me, like I'm like, I want to form connections with NPCs and with other whatever. And I feel like, you know, Heath was saying, oh, I have this connection with Lycan, and I have these like 3 things with Brian, and I feel like I haven't I've struggled to like build a lot of those. You know, we talked with Lycan a little bit about some things and a little bit and
Elxidor. Feel like a taunting little sister, but I don't. There's not a real deep connection there.
So I felt. Sometimes I felt a little like disconnected, and I'm like, I long for, as the person that I am, long to make these greater connections. But it just situationally hasn't made sense. And I think it's important to establish that is the way Gael is. But I'm excited because from the things that I do know about this next arc, I think more of that is going to end up being pushed, whether Gael likes it or not. There's so many things that Nick and I have like danced around, roughly talked about, whatever, that I'm so ready. And I feel like there's things, I could be wrong about them, but there were things that were planted, especially these past 2 episodes, that I think are things. And I was looking at Nick and he was giving me nothing, but which is what he should. But I'm just excited to finally learn what all of that is and have that start to impact my character in a way that I can also do some stuff that as a player I kind of miss doing by playing a character who is antisocial, and that's okay. And it's part of the journey, but just I know all the creating those connections. Maybe that's a little selfish, but
no,
selfish at all.
I look forward to it because I think we get glimpses of
like part of playing D&D is interacting with.
I know, and I feel like I don't get to do that.
I know,
and it's okay. It's okay, and
and there's good reasons.
There's good reasons, and I've appreciated all the moments where I get to insert a little like Gael thing, and y'all listen to it. Just things that are happening. Like, I mean, how long is Ari going to go before talking about having role playing a meltdown in the thing? Because I'm like, everything is just so bad. What is this? What would they do? They're not gonna. Everything is so overwhelming, and I mean, to get to play that like meant a lot to me. And I think these are little glimpses of things, but also then to not feel judged by the party. I thought that was kind of cool. I don't know.
But it's authentic, and you still hold space at the table. It's not because you're not interacting that you don't exist. It's
absolutely.
You fill it with descriptive stuff beyond talking, which is
cool. Thank you.
Yeah,
effective storytelling too.
I was going to say, I think we all see Gael differently than I think you see Gael.
At
least from my perspective. Like, I actually think Nissa personally, especially like the standing next to, because Nissa didn't know what to do, but wanted to do something.
I think my perception of Gael and the party is very filtered through Gael's perception of the party, of like, I feel maybe disconnected or like people aren't super engaged with them because that's how they feel. So maybe I'm going to learn some things moving forward. I don't know.
I thought it's interesting hearing you say that from that perspective, because I was like, oh, like I thought like Gael feels very like friendly with actually a lot of the group.
Not at all.
From my perspective, I'm like,
really?
Nissa like is like, Gael's solid. Like just a solid person to be around from Nissa's perspective.
I think they don't think of themselves as that way at all, and they don't expect people to want to connect with them. Yeah. So they're just like, this is, me projecting a little bit, but like, they're like, this is the way that I exist in the world. This is the way people think of me. So I'm just going to expect that because that is all that I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And often that means believing that people don't care about you, even when they show very direct signs that they do.
Yeah.
I'm not projecting at all. Not even a little bit.
Yeah, what I really think that's interesting is that like with Elxidor, he wants to be besties with all of you, and like he's right there for that, because like with us, that little duo that we had for the interrogation, like he's like, yes, finally, awesome, someone who understands. But right at the very end, I felt like I just made this divide for him, and I'm like, oh shit.
But I mean, I don't know if it's as neat and tidy as that.
Yeah,
because part of me as a player, when you started, I'd love to talk about this conversation because we were doing it a little bit before we hit record, and I'm like, let's put it on air. Yeah, we're on air, y'all. I don't know what to say.
Welcome to another plane.
That's Okay.
It's a great movie.
Yeah, yes. I don't know it. No,
Get
you're
off
so
my
good. I
brain.
did not get the reference, and that's my bad. But I was very in that split second, like, should I firmly stake myself with Elxidor and be like, because that's a connection and we're whatever. But I'm like, I feel like I need to sow some seeds of the internal debates that Gael is having right now, because I'm looking back at these. I have the doctrines of Karmos written out in my journal where I take notes, so I can always go back to them and look at them as like a guide, kind of in a way that Gael would. And there's things that, I mean, I think like in any religion, in certain situations become a little dichotomous with themselves of like, oh, I want to do the right thing. I want, things will come to be, but like, it's like you have to trusting in destiny and how that relates to like, like you're pulling the big things that matter to Gael, life, death, and justice.
Mm-hmm.
And yet it's like, oh, maybe these things don't slot so nicely together. And I'm like, oh, there's a lot to think about there. Yeah. And we get into the sort of moral quandaries that I know you guys in developing the campaign were very interested in exploring.
Absolutely. Yeah. I can't wait.
Yeah. Haven, now that you're a player,
I
what
know.
do you got?
I think I'm mainly just I'm really excited to be a player in terms of getting to flesh out Nissa more. Yes. because I like I as a DM I use Nissa as a plot device and as a help, but I don't want it to feel like it's just me.
DMPC. Hi, here's a tip.
Yes, that's exactly what I mean. It's really hard.
Of course.
It's really hard to not just be like, hey,
I
take
have
this.
never seen anyone do it before, so you've done a brilliant job, I think.
I've had it happen before in one campaign, and our DM made the DMPC literally unable to talk. So like as their way of handling it, which was very smart.
Huh.
Yeah,
but I think you've done very elegantly.
Thank you. But I'm really excited to see Nissa in this right now, because I have a feeling I'm going to be talking more as Nissa. In just in general, and I'm gonna get to include Annika a lot more. Annika's kind of an afterthought for me as when I'm DMing, because I shouldn't be running those two so much while I'm doing this and trying to make sure everyone is getting what they want. So I'm really excited to explore that relationship between Nissa and Annika specifically, as like they matter to each other a lot. And there's a reason why they've been with each other as long as they've been with each other. Especially in whatever Nick has planned. Nick and I have not gone in depth, but Nick has told me that he has some Nissa things that he wants to bring. And I'm excited. I'm excited to just see, because I'm going to be real, even the things you guys think you know about Nissa aren't what you actually know about Nissa. Like that. I've played them to the point of they tell you something, and even if they tell you something, that could be a straight out lie. Like it is, that's just simply it. And I've been playing it so that you can't even tell I'm lying to you. Like just nonchalant.
Not us trusting you implicitly.
Yeah. Well,
you're really good at lying.
I actually think that is fascinating, because I think that's why Nissa doesn't go to Brine or connect with Brine as much, because Nissa sees Brine as the same person as Nissa in terms of Nissa's not in a collar.
Yeah, like bullshit sense.
And Nissa has done more fucked up shit than Brine has ever done.
In
their opinion. That's how they see themselves. And that's why like I think in the first episode or something like that, like Nissa outright like just says like, yeah, whatever to Brine or something like that. And like there's a literal moment where like Nissa makes a comment about Brine, and I don't think the two actually have a conversation other than in the carnival thing, and they only talk to Sig.
Oh, wow.
Do you notice that they never talk to Brine?
Oh yeah, I noticed.
I think Nissa and Sig have a little tension.
Well,
Maybe.
It's not come up in a hot minute, but I don't know. There seems like there's a connection there.
a
Maybe
little
it's
bit.
not. Maybe
I'm
it's not what
sorry I couldn't
There was
protect you.
it is very interesting. Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about at all. It's very interesting because there's so much I can't say and there's so much I want to say.
Yeah.
Oh.
In terms of especially with Sig and Nissa's relationship.
Yeah.
It's I haven't even expressed much
It's
of
a
it.
troubled past.
Like no, like they
No.
they haven't met until being investigators, but there's certain things that haven't been like talked about
Mm-hmm.
that Nissa that's Nissa's strong suit is keeping quiet, just watching and going, okay, I can help you here. Let's do this thing.
Yeah. This is crushing hard.
No, I wouldn't say that, but I think it's there's a lot of mystery to Nissa that I don't want it to only just be mystery, but like
Yeah.
I'm excited to see how I get to move that forward with you all.
It'll
Yeah.
be very soon.
Sure will.
And I will say, this is the last thing because we don't have a lot of time left.
Mhm.
I wanna ask everyone, what did everyone think of the letter?
Oh my god.
The hound.
See, okay, because that was one of the things where I'm like, I feel like there are things that are going to connect to things that I know, and I could be so wrong about that. But there's things that I, Ari, not Gael at all, but I, Ari, know that I think is connected to that letter, or could at some level be connected to it. It just made me really hype, personally. Sorry, I like hijacked to be first, but it was...
You're fine. Not
Okay.
hijacking. You're okay.
Okay, great.
You're fine. You're good. No worries.
Oh, of course you start with me.
Of course I start with you.
Yeah. I loved it. I can't even say too much. Because, like, I don't want to say something to, like, maybe accidentally hint towards you guys.
Yeah.
But, like, it was really cool to see it, and probably my favorite part because, like, I was, like, looking around because, like, when you said the letter, I instantly knew what it was. Like, no matter which one of those letters it was, I knew what it was.
Yeah, because just so everyone at home knows,
Yeah.
Nick and I have had the idea about this letter for a long time.
Yeah.
Nick and I talked about generally what it would be about, but he didn't know how it was going to be written or anything like that.
Yeah. So, like, seeing it, like, I instantly knew, and, like, I was kind of looking around to see if anyone would clock on my facial expressions. Ari was the only one, too. And Ari was like, what? Huh? What is this?
Keith?
It's just one of those things where it's like, oh yeah, the deep, the underdark, the spooky, scary place. Oh, actually, spooky, scary stuff is going on in the nice, pretty, real world.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, like I knew that was gonna happen, but like that's,
Man.
but like hiding it with like the pronoun game and be like the hound and them and us, and I'm like,
The hidden.
Just to throw you all over the place to be like, who the fuck is even talking right now?
yeah. I'm still curious about like Fennec's mother.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of unanswered questions
I
with
know.
Fennec and Sayer, huh?
Yeah.
That's my 2 cents.
Jacob?
What letter?
I'm
kidding. I remember the letter. I don't remember the contents of the letter. To be so for real, I'm still playing with one level of exhaustion. I spent the entire previous session in a jail cell not doing anything. I was very spacey.
That's
I do not remember the contents of the letter.
Okay.
But I'm sure it was great, and you're a fantastic writer. Amazing job.
I don't need the praise, but thanks, Adam.
Yes. Leo never heard the letter, but I did.
Yeah.
So for me, I think it's just, again, going back on the fact that the world is alive and the fact that, like, even though we were solving this problem, that problem stemmed from another problem and another problem and another problem. So there's like the investigation is not over. So we're kind of just, and now that there's this new thing, we're like, okay, we kind of solved the big part of this for right now. So let's move to this now, because this is
Putting out
very present
fires
right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Putting out as many fires as we can right now, though there's still some fires burning. But I thought that was really cool. The fact that like there's still a line, there's still drops of blood on the ground, and we got to find where it leads.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But for now, let's look at the punch bowl because it's cool.
Yeah. It's like nothing wraps up in a tidy way, and that's something that like I struggle with because I'm like, no, I just don't want that. I want it to like have an end, but like it doesn't, and I think that's gonna create a much more interesting dimensional story where things are gonna keep popping up that like we don't even expect to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Lycan also didn't hear it, so I guess you said you found a letter. She knows that much.
Yeah.
I don't think
We
she
would
knows
give
the
you
content.
the like we would show it to you.
I'm sure eventually. Yeah. I just don't think that's actually canonically happened yet. Sophia's worried, but like honestly, was kind of like, oh yeah, we could take that.
That's awesome. That's great. That's honestly really cool.
Oh,
No matter what, we're gonna do it.
Right.
That's true.
Private eye.
It's like, oh, here's the next thing. Okay. Honestly, I was more intrigued by, oh my gosh, the daughter's name.
No,
Frista.
Frista.
And if she's gonna come back to haunt us in some way, either morally or just literally trying to hunt us down in some way. I know she's little, but
I'll kill her.
But is
I
she
feel
little
like-
anymore? Because when do we
I don't
when
know.
those-
I
was
don't
gonna
know.
say the one thing I'll
was that
say
being old?
They were
is
old, I
that
think
It
so.
was a younger picture.
Calhoun was younger. in the
Yeah.
book.
Yeah. So I feel
So
like
she could be
she's
anyone.
powerful in some way.
It's Crawley.
I don't know. Just a theory.
Yeah.
A game theory.
That's what I was gonna do.
Just a theory, a game theory.
And D&D theory.
It was funnier when you said it. No, I'm kidding.
You say it?
I'm
Yes, I said
oh my
that.
god! I didn't
I just
hear it.
said it quietly.
I thought you were
Wow.
just repeating
Wow.
it.
Behind me.
Wow.
Wow.
Someone's
Speak-
not paying attention.
That's you playing Minesweeper.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, literally, he's playing Minesweeper right now.
And that's
I just
okay.
opened it.
No,
I just opened it.
But otherwise, is there anything else that anyone wants to say before we get done?
Yeah.
I was. Oh,
Oh, sorry.
Go for it.
No.
Sophia?
I was going to talk about Lycan's perspective on death
Yes.
or on killing people, more specifically, I guess.
Yeah.
Because it's different than Elxidor's.
Yeah. Don't worry, we're still friends.
Oh yeah. No. Oh yeah. No, Nick and I aren't, but Elxidor.
Whoa.
Kidding.
Well, I retract that statement.
I'm kidding. I think there's this idea that nature is the ultimate powerful force, and humanity does what it can to control and nature as much as possible to make nature livable. I don't. There's lots.
Nature
Yeah.
finds a
People
way.
put this in a lot better ways than I just did, but
Jurassic Park.
I think that is something that resonates with Lycan, and she doesn't understand. Even though she's an investigator, she doesn't really understand law or why people value it.
Yeah.
And she doesn't understand being confined. So I think there's elements of that will come up later. But
Yeah.
Mhm.
I really love that. I agree, because what was like interesting to see is that dynamic between civilization and what people like have constitute what laws is, because like Elxidor's whole thing.
and you're a paladin.
I'm a paladin.
So
Yeah.
Oath of the Crown.
Oath of the
Right.
Crown. Like
That's what makes it
like,
so.
Yeah, like my oath is to the people, and I uphold for
The
me like
law.
I don't the law, and you know, with the stereotype of paladins being I will, you know, smite thee with the power of God,
Right.
and all that fun stuff. Because there's that like stereotype where it's like, okay, I'm going to be this law-bearing guy to be like, guys, we can't just keep, and that was like part of that conversation, be like, we can't just keep killing people because like we're breaking the law. And like his whole thing is that like if that keeps happening, we're gonna have to take responsibility for it. So like seeing that those two ideas and constructs kind of just like slowly start to hash out a bit was really interesting to see.
I don't really think either of them are necessarily wrong or right.
No,
I agree.
Yeah.
And-
I don't think anyone is, and I think that's part of the
Exactly.
point.
I think that's
Yeah, it's just like how he grew up, and that was just his belief.
I would like to say though, like I'm taking Sig in a direction where it's more about like worrying about your actions of consequences of actions? Because like I know pre-test episode was just like, oh, killed everybody, like truly, and then I was like,
we were settling
one, and two, I think that like while he's not in his like normal human form, that like some of that death is just like an appeasement to Rathul. So like if you're ever curious on why like Sig is like, I don't want to kill people, but then does kill people, like usually like I think every time it's been not in his usual form.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fascinating.
No, I mean, I'm holding on to the fact that Gale didn't see Alexei go down. So I think as far as they know, they still haven't killed anyone ever. But they have. I don't know what to do about that one, but it just was a thought that I had.
Yeah.
No one tell Gale.
Actually, seriously, last thing. Because I want to make sure everyone's able to get home and everything like that and sleep.
Long rest.
What did everyone think of when Alexei died? The extinguishment of the flame. I know it's really minuscule.
It's not the extinguishment of the flame.
What was it?
His eyes turning back to white. I was like, oh, yep, this poor guy was under someone's control and we just murdered him.
Yeah.
That's what I was curious
I
towards.
think from him being in the fighting ring to being here, it was pretty clear that he was under someone's control. But I for one wasn't expecting that for sure, because like I thought there was like some part of him that did want to fight for the cause that he was fighting for, but I don't think he did. Didn't seem like it.
It's a great question.
And we will never know.
Yeah.
I guess we'll never know.
It is.
I feel like you set it up well, Haven, that if he had, I don't know what his crime was, but I think you set it up with explaining the flame color in a way that if things had gone further, maybe we would have known what the crime was or not. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I was kind of like, we'll never know what the color meant.
Yeah.
When he died.
What possible crime could he have committed that
You never know.
didn't because their flame extinguishes if they repeat the crime.
Yeah.
And then the Infernonauts come after them.
Mm-hmm.
So I just was curious to see what people's thoughts were.
Like the deaths is just taking a toll on Elxidor, because like seeing that form, just like he doesn't like seeing people die, and like
Leo doesn't like it either.
Leo doesn't like it either.
Megan doesn't like it either. She just thinks it's
no, I'm not saying
she thinks
that.
It's a necessary evil. She's like,
and he wants to try and do his best to give everyone a fair shot at life, and be like, who are we to be the what's the saying?
Judge, jury, and executioner.
Exactly. Yes. Exactly.
All three.
Because like he's like, there are people in power that we have set in place. This is how society works. These are the norms. Here's how society works, and that's the system he grew up on. But then also seeing this, whole this. I wanted to say that as well. The letter, to seeing that like now there are just like corrupt people that are slithering their way into it, or trying to at least. He's just like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
What were you gonna say, Adam?
I was just gonna say Leo's point of view on killing people is he doesn't want to do it. He has no control over what he can and can't do. Like he literally, the whole like the Ray of Frost thing was literally just to slow down the other one, and it broke its ankles and made it freeze to death. I was like, ooh, like even me, I wasn't expecting it to kill that. But like. It's true to Leo that he doesn't have control over the things that he can do a lot of times. And when he does, like awesome, but it's still not like consistent because it's wild magic. Wow. Yeah. But no, he's terrified of himself for that too.
Something I'm curious to see is if Elxidor's not pact, what's the right word? Oath. Not that it changes, but
what if it breaks?
Because I feel like I've heard discussions of paladin oaths being talked about in ways of like, okay, well, my inner code, my inner law is different than the external law of the government. And so I wonder if Elxidor will form his own codes, if he will keep with his oath, like what that's going to look like.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, so much.
To figure out.
So much is gonna
Next
happen.
time on Campaign
Casters.
Casters.
Yeah.
Arcane
Absolutely.
Recovery.
But I think overall, I think we covered some great stuff today.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I hope everyone, including you, our viewer,
Yes.
have a great rest of your day. And without further ado, until next time, be careful adventuring. If you get tired, come back home.
home.